So today we're going to take a look at how Sentinels attack on Fracture and how they played against Rise. And this is their standard map pick, and I think that this map definitely does suit them, and we're going to get into some of the reasons why. But first, let's just dive straight into it. And yeah, we're going to start with the pistol round. We aren't going to focus too much on Sentinels. We're actually going to talk about Rise in this round, but the rest of the video will be focused more on the Sentinels. So let's take a look at what's going to happen. So Rise have a bit of a stack up here. They have this Viper Wall, which they're about to use. And they're going to use this Viper Wall. Sentinels are on the attack side, by the way. Rise are going to use this Viper Wall to get in underneath here, but it's not going to go that well for them. And I'm just going to quickly, this round interested me, so I'm just going to quickly talk about maybe some of the problems that they had with this strategy. So here you go. You can see, you know, they're using this wall to sneak underneath the underpass here. And Sentinels have, you know, 3 players on one side and 2 players on the other side pushing towards this site. So they're going to find a fight, as we see here. But now they actually get the first kill, as you can see. So all of a sudden they're in, you know, a good position. You would think that, you know, they have the man advantage, got what they wanted perhaps. But now it's going to come the problem, because Dapper's going to find one. He's, you know, gonna. I mean, this shot is pretty stupid, and he's going to get some aggression from the breach there as well. But let me just quickly talk to you as we see Sentinels kind of just take those players apart. And they are going to get the last kill and end up in a 4v1 and win the pistol. Let me just talk quickly about what I didn't like about this strategy from Rise. And they actually did a similar thing a couple rounds later, but even though it didn't lead to anything, but I think it was a much better idea in general. So they obviously sneak down here, right? The problem with sneaking down here is then they just kind of stayed there. And I just want you to think about that. That all of a sudden they've put themselves in a situation where they're fighting from both sides in a very condensed, small area where they can't go anywhere. There's nowhere to retreat to, and they have to fight people from both sides. Yeah, that's obviously not going to go well. They basically, you know, just put themselves into a corner. If you're going to do this, you know, you have to push out. You have to own one side. The idea, surely, of doing something like that is to own one side. Or what they could have done, of course, is try and stay here in this little pocket very silently, hope the Sentinels don't come underneath, push up this way, and then come in behind them. That is something that they could have done as well. But what they did in just terms of like just, and I don't know, maybe that was the idea, but one of them just didn't execute it. But trying to fight on both sides in this small area was never going to go well. And, you know, it's pretty likely that Sentinels will have people perhaps on both sides. Like, you know, that's something that could very easily happen. So putting themselves into this position didn't make sense. I won't show it, but something that they did a couple rounds later, which made more sense, is they sent 2 people underneath here and then had 2 people push this as they came from underneath here. So they had 2 people push down the stairs, they had 2 people push from here. Ultimately, there were no Sentinels there, but that is something that makes, I think, a lot more sense, because then you're trying to take control of this area, you're coming from 2 different angles. That is something that would work. But what they did here was just kind of a bit of a, it was an odd choice, in my opinion. Okay, so now let's come to round number 4. So this is kind of the full gun round for both teams. You can see we have a bit of a B lean here from Sentinels, you know, and just checking that there's no aggression here from the other 2 players over there. And so let's see how it goes. And it's not going to start out well for them. They're going to end up in a 5v3 after a little while in this round. But it is eventually going to end up with a Sentinels win. And we're going to talk about, you know, how they managed to do that. So, you know, they start to creep up here. Tens makes a small mistake here, and that his gun can be seen. And yeah, as you can see, he goes down to 46 health. And, you know, they're alerted to the fact that there are people here. So that's going to stop the initial push. But now the breach is with them as well. And so what they decide to do is take the breach and Tens here on Jet. They decide to go under the underpass and leave the Viper and the chamber towards the stairs. And then the Astra is going to eventually decide, okay, no one's come, you know, and been aggressive towards me. So the Astra is going to also come and group up with them. And so they're about to make a B push. But as I mentioned, it's not going to start out well for them. So what's going to happen here is, oh, we should also just quickly talk about the Viper wall that they've put up as well. So they have this Viper, which is quite an interesting one. Which, you know, you would initially think with this kind of bit on the tower here as well, you'd think maybe it would be for kind of a coming in here so that, you know, no one can see us in tower. You know, maybe we put an Astro Smoke here and we run in through like the B main part of it. But in fact, they are going to send Tens up towards arcade. Not arcade. They're going to send Tens up towards tower. And so, yeah, let's run it through because it's about to happen. So they get the stun in tower. Tens updraft dash in, but Sick here is going to get caught by Neptune there sitting on top of that. And now Now they're in a 5v4, but it's going to get even worse. But what I want to talk about here is just, and this is something that Sentinels did consistently, is, you know, they had control of this and this, right? So they have the control of this. And that's very important because that means that you can push from both sides. And what's going to happen here is, you know, there's just been a kill here. They know that Tens is up here. So you can see the direction that these players are looking at. And this Raze is actually looking here, but it's just going to fire a couple shots and then straight away turn back to that. So there's no attention on this Chamber and Viper over here. You know, that Rise, you know that probably there could be someone there, but they aren't focused on them at all. They're focused on the other side. Neptune gets that kill there, right? And so, again, the attention is still kind of towards that area. Eventually, if we look at the map, the Viper, you know, thinks, there could be someone here. So the Viper starts to take a swing. It doesn't know the orb is about to go down. Doesn't know that there isn't someone there. And they obviously still know that Tens is in tower. So what's going to happen is they try and flash Tens. Whilst this is going on, Dapper gets the kill on that Viper. So what they tried to do here was flash Tens to allow Neptune to come behind. So Tens gets flashed, and he's probably thinking, that's a bit suspicious. So the attention now, though, now that Dapper has just got that kill, watch what this Astra does. The Astra now turns the attention. Oh, Dapper just killed my Viper from the other side. So the attention gets turned again. Tens, as I mentioned, and you just saw, tried to get flashed, but he turned it, and he probably either heard or sensed that this Raze was coming into tower and potentially attacking him from behind because he knows Shazam has died. So he ends up getting that kill as well. Now, Poise, I think what happens here, because Poise, if we watch this through, you might be like, what is he doing running down there? Why would he be doing that? I think the reason that he might have done that is because he doesn't know that Tens hasn't got the kill from here. This is all happening in a very short space of time. So he probably sees that someone has died and feels like, I can't stay here because Tens might be right there, you know, about to just kill me from behind. So he feels like he has to go and get aggressive and can't. And what I really want to point out here is just the timing of everything, right? That, like, the timing for what Sentinels did there, even though they were in a 3v5, you know, they had created pressure on this side, which allowed the people from this side to get a kill. And then they'd got a kill from this side, which allowed Tens to then get a kill. And then Tens has got a kill, and that forced this person to come down here and allow these two to get a kill. It's like they just kept ping-ponging back and forth between where the pressure was coming from. And, you know, having that control of both these areas, and this is something that Sentinels did pretty much consistently throughout, is, you know, they always tried to get control of both sides, whatever side they were attacking, so that they could create this kind of ping-pong of pressure effect, right? And that's... attacking on Fracture isn't that difficult, because if you can do this and get control of both of these areas, and then, you know, force defenders to have to look both ways, you know, this is why people struggled so much, particularly early on with Fracture, is because no one knew how to defend against that kind of thing. And Sentinels, you know, were very good at taking this early control of kind of these early spaces, and then, you know, just creating a ping pong effect of, well, you know, you have to look one way, but now all this pressure on the other side, or what do I do? And eventually it caused mistakes. And if we watch this round out, actually, because something happens that's pretty interesting further down the line, the Breach is going to get killed here by Tens, I think, but we are going to end up in a 1v1. So Zoms, I think, is going to die to the Aftershock. Yeah, he does. But Tens gets him, but then Shanks gets Tens, and all of a sudden we're in a 1v1. There's 10 seconds left, okay? And something pretty interesting is going to happen here. So Dapper obviously starts planting, and then he's going to teleport away, as we see. Now, Shanks knows where this like you can see, right? He heard, obviously, that the teleport was in this direction. Now, if he could see the map and see where Dapper was, I'm sure he would have just sprinted there, because he could stick this. You know, he could have forced Dapper to run all the way up the stairs and try and, you know, duel him, because, you know, that's enough time if he doesn't to just stick it, because it's not planted for him. So I'm sure if Shanks could see the map, he would have done that. I was thinking at the time, why didn't he do that? But I guess the reason is he doesn't know that the teleport isn't like here and that Dapper is already there, right? That's probably the reason why. If he could see the map, I'm sure he probably would have done. So he takes his time, and eventually Dapper, because he has his tour de force, is going to get the kill. And so now let's take a look at round number 5. And Rise actually did that thing that I talked about, where they push 2 from each direction and they end up in this space. But as you can see, Sentinels are going towards A, and they have Dapper up here just waiting. And again, a lot of this map is about good timing and having good timing, because what's going to happen is Tens, obviously Shanks is here towards Dish, and it's causing some problems, and they don't have control of Dish for maybe the first time. So Tens decides to try and, you know, get control of it, but he's going to die. So what happens is, obviously they got control of the site because, you know, no one was there. So they do get control of the site, and they have it, and they're about to start planting and get a Viper ult down as well. But obviously we know that behind Shanks here is Dapper. And we'll take a look at what happens. Here comes the Viper ult. Sentinels try and stun there. Now Shazam is in a lot of trouble here, and all of a sudden, even though it's an eco for Rise, it's a 5v3 winnable, right? Very, very winnable. But let's take a look at how the 3 of Sentinels managed to win this. And really, the 2 of Sentinels managed to win this. So, good timing again here from Dapper. He's very patient. And what's about to happen is a breach ult. And this breach ult is going to be very important. Now, Dapper is about to take this fight. And if we just watch that first, I actually think that Dapper is going to whiff. Because he starts shooting. And then Shanks is able to turn. And then eventually when he dies, what we'll see is that he actually killed him with a pistol. So I'm pretty sure that he ended up whiffing that. But if we focus on the other parts of this as well, just as this breach ult is about to come in, if we focus on the other parts of it, watch Sick here. Because Sick is going to time it. With the breach ult coming down, that's when he opens the door. And you can see no one turns around to look at the door. They're all focused on pushing in. So he's able to get 1 free kill there. Now the Viper actually dies. Okay, Poise is able to kill Viper in that ult. So all of a sudden it's a 2v3. But let's take a look at what happens now. Because Dapper up here probably hears the Astra, I think, with the way the Astra was jumping around. Is able to get that kill. And then Sick is able to get the breach, who he tagged up before. And then get the final kill on Superman as well. Really good timing awareness from both Sick and Dapper there. You know, the timing of being so patient, Dapper at the top of the map, you know, to come here behind Shanks. He was very, very patient indeed. And Shanks was holding this for the whole time. And then, you know, he turned around and then Dapper was there. So really good time from him. And Sick, you know, they probably said, oh, they've got a breach ult. They're probably going to breach ult this Viper ult because that makes the most sense. Waits for that to open the door and come behind them. Gets, you know, essentially 2 free kills because he did tag up the breach a lot as well there, which gave him an easy kill there. And yeah, wins the round just like that. And very impressive from Sentinels. But another reason that Sentinels, I think, are really good on this map is because Sentinels are good at defending. And what will often happen, is going to happen here, is defenders like to get aggressive on Fracture because, as we've seen in the other rounds, if people can get control of like this area and this area and pressure you from both sides, it's very hard to just defend the site. That's something that's very tricky to do. So what you'll often see is people getting aggressive on Fracture. But as I mentioned, Sentinels are really good at defending. And basically when, you know, you decide to go for a full-on, you know, a kind of aggressive attack towards them, they become the defenders. And they're really good at defending. So let's take a look. Because even though they get a bit caught off guard here with this first one, they have a good understanding of the map and what is going on. So here we go. Rise, you know, as you can see, are pushing in here. They're getting close to these Sentinels players. And they are going to end up coming out of this trade with Shazam and Tens dying there. In a 4v3 at this point. They also send the breach stun there. And so Sick is in a difficult position because he has Spike. And if he dies here with the Spike, it's probably round over. You know, Rise are going to win this round. But whilst all this was happening, Zombs underneath here has, you know, quickly decided, oh, I've got to be here. You know, try and get these players. And what Sick understands is that he just needs to buy time. It's like defending, right? You just got to buy time for your other players to rotate in to come and help you. And, you know, they had a good understanding of what was going on. Zombs was very quick in getting there. And that is what is going to lead them to end up in this position where Zombs gets one. The shooting from the other side distracts them. Poised is then killed by Sick. And all of a sudden they're in a 3v2. And from this 3v2 they decide, you know, let's kind of group up and push together towards this B site. But again, they are aware, and Sick is very aware here that, you know, there's been a lot of aggression. Very possible that someone could push from this other side. He's going to look for it. He sees it. Okay, they now know it's there. You know, it's a very handy position to be in to know that that's there. And now they group up together and decide to push. They get a trade there on Derek. All of a sudden, 2v1, and they are going to end up winning this round with Zombs, sorry, not Sick, finding a position that Shanks perhaps couldn't have foreseen him to be in. Obviously, he knows where both of them have come, so he probably knows where they're likely to be, but Zombs is back here and not over there, and they get the kill. But also, let's take a look at Sentinels, you know, running a good execute on site as well, because of course they're still very good players, and it's not like, you know, they aren't good at it and can't do it at all. So let's take a look at this. Now, they've actually lost a player here to Shanks's tour de force. They struggled with Shanks, I'll be honest, a little bit, you know, kind of peeking on them early. But let's take a look and see how they managed to combo some utility here to get into this site and win this round ultimately. So what we're going to see coming out is the Astra Wall. Here it is, splitting the site down the middle. Then at the same time, we're going to get stars here on the ground that is going to stun Shanks here, as you can see. And as that's happening, Zombs is going to swing around the corner and get the kill. Obviously very difficult to be moving in that situation and get that. Then we're going to get Tens entering onto the site. They drop down. They're in on the site. And they get the Viper ult down as well. And I just thought that, you know, this just goes to show, you know, they can also do this and do it pretty well. And they ended up in a pretty good situation here. And, you know, with the Viper ult down. And obviously when you know you've got that Viper ult, as soon as you get to site, you know, you're feeling pretty comfortable winning the round at this point. And they are going to win this round. And again, they push out as a team here as well. They group up. They know that Tens is in trouble. So look what happens, right? Even the Viper, forget the ult. You know, come and help me swing. Tens is in trouble. Swing as a team. Get those kills. You see that there was 3 of them there with Shazam just holding on the other side. And all of a sudden, it's a 4v1. And so they go from a 4v5 to a 4v1 because, you know, they played well as a team here and get the round win. And they went on. It was 4-3 and they ended up winning 9-3 on the round. So very, very impressive for their Fracture attack in all. And I think that, again, you can see that this map kind of suits what they are good at. You know, the kind of defending aspect of Fracture as well, but the fact that, you know, you don't have to do too much maybe coordinated crazy strats, and you can just kind of do, you know, some simplistic things of just taking map control and pushing from both sides and be pretty successful to attack on Fracture.